guys? I'm Bear DeGidio, and we are back with another episode of the JAXXON Podcast. I'm sitting here with one of the greatest co-hosts of all time, Twitch, and we have one of the greatest guests of all time on this podcast. Twitch, you got to do the honors of bringing him in. The accolades, the list just goes on forever.
We got Mr. Aaron Plessinger. Did I say it right that time?
Yeah, you got it right.
Everyone murders his last name, including me. I always say Plessinger, and my wife's always like Plessinger.
At this point, I'm just like, however it rolls off the tongue, just say it. But I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hell yeah, always, dude. So straight to it. Motocross of Nations, dude. You made the team. Are you stoked or what?
I'm stoked. Yeah.
You are Mr. Red, White, and Blue. You know what I mean? Like,
I try to be. You know, my patriotism just kind of leaks out.
Runs
I
deep.
can't really hide it too well. So no, I'm stoked. Last year was my first time overseas.
Yep.
I always used to tell people before last year my overseas experience was always just flying out of Santa Ana, flying out over the sea and then coming back in until last year. So no, I'm stoked. I'm ready to see England and get to race the guys again. I think I'm gonna do a lot better than I did last year.
Yeah.
I had one good moto last year and then kind of fell apart in the second moto, but I'm in a way better spot than I was last year. So I'm ready for it.
Do you find their tracks harder to ride?
They're just different.
Yeah.
You know, over here, we do the 1 day thing and just on Saturdays.
Yep.
And they do like, it's like
2 to 3 days,
yeah,
right?
it's like 3 days long where they don't prep the track. All they do is water it, and then
That's
they'll
gnarly.
prep the start straight and everything, but everything else is just kind of leave it how it is. And it's sick because the tracks actually get rough and gnarly. But last year I was just like, whoa, this is a new thing for me.
That's gnarly. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. We got a pretty solid team this year, so it's possible.
Yeah.
For the people at home that are watching this and don't know about Nations Cup and understand how the dynamic works, like how we send athletes, how they send athletes, you want to break that down for them?
Yeah, it's basically, I wouldn't say it's like it's your performance throughout the year and like who has earned a spot on the team, and then they have people that like a little committee that picks everyone. And sometimes people agree and say yeah, and then sometimes people say no. So it just depends. Oh, dude, these guys don't really get a break. So it's like they're doing Supercross season, Motocross season, and then when they should be like chilling for like 2 weeks, they're going back to another race. Plus they added 3 more races this year with the Super Motocross. So it's like they don't really get a break time. So at the end of the year, I get it when some dudes are like, I don't really want to go. Like, you know, like you're tired, you're beat, you want to hang out with your family, you want to chill, you want to recover, like, and then you're right back into testing again for next season. Like, it's gnarly.
Yeah. Like last year, I came back from France, and then I took 2 weeks totally off the bike, and then me and my family were in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and on the Sunday I was driving back. My trainer Alden Baker texted me and was like, "Hey, you ready for a bike ride on Monday?" And so I had to drive 10 hours back home to Florida and then just get back into training. And I think in a sense, it kind of helped me out for this year because it didn't let me take that long break and get my body out of sync of everything. It was still in like that repetitive mode to where when I got back into training, it was almost a little bit easier than trying to start from scratch again.
You still had a pretty good base going because you never got out of it. And that's the thing too. Like I see people, well, myself, I'll start working out all the time. I'll feel great. And then I'll quit for like 2-3 months. Then I'll get back in and it's like starting all over again. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah. I do that 1 day. Like if I skip anything for just 1 day, like say if I just wake up and taking a lazy day, I feel so like out of whack and out of tune. It's crazy.
You're so used to just being on the move every single day, working your ass off to go win. Like it's cool, but and it shows, you know what I mean? Like this year you killed it. What did you end up 3rd in points this year?
In outdoors. Yeah.
In outdoors. It's fucking awesome. You came on strong towards, I feel like the halfway point on.
Yeah. I was Colorado, I had a pretty bad race. And then, after that, it was almost like Justin Cooper was right ahead of me in points. Yep. And I was like battling with him. We'd go back and forth. It was like a kind of tiny battle in between the big battle. And
they would always cover it on TV.
Dude,
too. I was watching.
Yeah. So it was kind of that like pushed me to go that much harder. And I wanted to beat Chase and Hunter so bad. Like that last race at Ironman, I tried so hard, man. I tried so hard to beat Chase, but man, he was on a different level this year.
It's crazy, like when he turns it on, and I remember like when I was racing off road, like the worst fucking feeling is leading the race the whole time and then getting past with like a lap or two to go. You're like, dude, I worked my ass off this whole time and then that fucking happened. Like, it's got to be so frustrating, dude.
Dude, yeah, at Hangtown, actually, I led literally the whole entire moto until the last lap, and
that was when Sexton went from last or 40th to first.
Yep,
like that was like. That was gnarly to see. Dude. Like everyone was tripping on that.
Yeah,
and the whole time, me and Sanders, like everyone were on the couch, we're like, fucking Plessinger, let's go. And then we're like, oh, it like took the wind out of our sails. We're like, damn it, dude. This race sucks. I'm changing it.
You've been gassing him up all year here on the JAXXON podcast. He's your biggest advocate. This guy loves you.
Yeah.
And where does the nickname Cowboy come from?
He's just like, dude, he just turned into a redneck out of nowhere.
Like I've been redneck-esque my whole life. I grew up in Southern Ohio, and like when I turned pro, you know, I got stuff for free. I got the flat bill hats and everything for free, so I would just rock them. And then
and you lived basically on the West Coast for a while. Like,
so I had to
adapt it to the style.
Yeah, I adapted to the California style. So you know, when I hit 450s, I moved back to Tallahassee. And the redneck roots started coming back to me. And then I think it was in 2021. I think after my first podium at Daytona,
that was when you yelled "Do it for Dale."
Yeah, I did the famous
right?
"Do it for Dale."
Yeah.
And the next, I think it was the next race was in Dallas. I'm pretty sure. And the boys from like who filmed the opening ceremony stuff said, yo, let's take a trip to Boot Barn and
get you a hat.
Yeah, get you a hat and do you up. So I was like, yeah, let's do it. So I went in there and got boots, got a hat. We shot my opening ceremonies video, which was the sickest.
Sick. Yeah, it
the
was so
sickest
rad.
one. So that's when kind of the Cowboy thing started coming about.
Yep.
And I just took to it.
I feel like overnight too, like just you doing that, you gained so many more fans. And it's like every single rider, like not one dude has anything bad to say about you. Like you could clean him out and they're like, oh, it's Plessinger, it's fine. You know what I mean? Like he didn't mean to do it. But like everyone else gets so pissed off. It's like, it's cool to see how much love you get from the whole industry plus all your fans. Like when he's like, for instance, last year when he was leading Detroit and crashed with one corner to go, like our Shopify just started going ding, 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 ding. Like everyone felt so bad for him. They just like went and bought all his merch off the website. We were like, holy shit. So it's like, it's funny to see too, because like whenever there's a race on TV, like mainly more towards Supercross, like I feel like more people are watching Supercross and outdoors, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And like anytime you're doing good, people are buying your shit. If you're doing good and then you start like you fall or something, people are buying your stuff. It's like, it's funny to see how many people are active on our website when you're racing on TV.
Dude, it shows too at the races.
Yeah.
Like this year at Redbud, man, it gave me the chills how many people were cheering. Like when I went up on the podium, there was this lady, she pretty much runs outdoors, and she was holding up a sign when Chase was on the podium doing his TV thing, and it said "Quiet, please." And I didn't realize that it said that, so I kind of snuck around her like underneath the sign and took my hat off and started waving it.
And they're just
dude, it got so loud I couldn't even hear myself talk. So it was such a good experience.
I love it. I feel like your fans like can relate to you because you're just like a normal dude. You know what I mean? Like you're not cocky. You're not like, you know, it's just like you're just doing your thing, having fun riding a dirt bike.
Yep.
And it's cool to see too, like when you'll go grab a beer and chug a beer after the race, or like out of the Eagle, you're like pounding beers at Redbud. And I'm like, people are like, that's my guy. You know what I mean? Like it's so cool to see.
Yeah. I just try to be myself, man.
That's the best thing.
Yeah. I don't hype it up to be anything other than, you know, I was blessed to be good on a dirt bike, or half decent on a dirt bike, and it carried me this far. So
you're a little bit more than half decent. You know.
How did you guys connect in the beginning? Because it seems like you have such respect and admiration for him, and it seems like it's the same with you. Obviously, you're a legend in the game, but how did this connection come? Did you guys ride with each other? Did you meet him when he was younger?
I've always watched him. Like even back in the day, like when Andy Backen used to work for us, and you were riding for them. What was it? Maybe Answer or something?
Yeah, Answer, and then MSR.
Yeah.
MSR when I was still amateur.
Yeah,
and he was the guy there, and then Answer, and then I've just kept up with Andy since I was probably about 16 or 17.
Yeah, and that's who I met him through. Bakes is one of my good friends, and he would always be like, dude, you got to watch Plessinger. This kid's going to be bad when he goes pro. And then I remember you guys were riding for Star at the time. I think you, Cooper Webb came out. Who else? There was a couple of you.
Was it Cole Martinez, maybe?
Maybe it was Martinez, yeah. And we all went out to Ritchie Canyon and rode for the day. And it was just cool. Like,
dude, yeah.
And I've always been a fan. Like even before he went pro, I'd always watch motos and watch Loretta's and all that stuff. And I just always liked him. He was just a likable dude.
Yeah, and obviously I watched all the movies growing up, and Twitch was always a main star in those, and yeah, I've looked up to this guy for a long time.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
most of us have grown up watching what this is and where the sports turn. It all comes from a little love of this genre of motocross for sure.
Yeah.
Did freestyle motocross and freestyle riding, did it have its own season?
No, we were just we for a while there, like when we were in our prime, like there was contests all the time. Like every month there was a few events. So it was cool. We were always on TV. We're always doing videos and movies and stuff like that.
You're always on a bike. Like even now, last week I saw you riding. Like it seems like you ride every day.
I took the last month off. I just posted some shit so it looked like I was riding. But yeah, I haven't rode since my last demo.
The beauty of social media.
Yeah, have some backup footage. Yeah,
it's funny because a lot of us will do that. Like I remember like when I actually competed a lot, like after X Games, I would have different photographers come over and I would shoot in like 5 different sets of gear in a day. Because I wouldn't touch my bike for 2 months until like wintertime. I'm like, I'm chilling, dude. I ain't doing nothing. But it looked like I was riding every single day.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. With Vegas coming up, I haven't done a show in a month. So I rode Monday at my house. I rode yesterday at my house. I had a lot of fun yesterday. Normally I'll ride like 1 session and be done. And yesterday I rode like 2, and I was the last one riding. I was like watching everyone. I'm like, you guys are done? They're like, damn, Grandpa's out there.
Oh yeah, hey, congratulations, you're a grandpa.
You. Yeah,
let's go.
You're Grandpa Twitch.
These little punk ass kids have been calling me Gramps for long enough. It actually came true.
Now it's actually true. How's it feel to be a grandpa?
It doesn't feel any different. It's cool. I get to play with my grandson every day, and then the best part is I get to send him home and I get my own bed.
yeah.
It's a little bit different.
Yeah,
like
cool.
a mini daycare with Twitch.
Yeah, it's a fun ass daycare too.
So talk to me about like the state of motocross right now and kind of supercross and where you're at with everything. Because I feel like it's getting bigger than ever. We've been doing this podcast. We see these major sponsors are kind of coming in. We see guys like Jed and Hunter, yourself and Chase, and everybody's doing things outside of supercross. And you guys are kind of building these main star characters. I'd like to kind of figure out like, where's your headspace at with all that?
Yeah. I mean, it's growing. Like it's really growing. I am trying my best to make it grow. I don't know how much influence I do have.
You have a lot.
But yeah, like I mean, it's been slow in the past, but I feel like in the past couple of years, I've been seeing, more stadiums sell out and more outdoors, like Redbud,
so
for
many
instance,
people,
dude, like on the podium, I couldn't even see the ground. There were
Yeah.
so many people there. So in that sense, it's really, really growing. And with the outside sponsors, I wish we could get more.
Yep.
I wish we could get more eyes in on the sport and just see how gnarly these guys and myself are just going through the year and not having that time off. I feel like a lot more people would have a different look on it, because I feel like more people than not are, they take dirt bikes and they say, all you got to do is sit on the seat and twist the gas.
Yeah, I wish that's all it was.
yeah. Like I do too. But no, I wish there was a way to get like the behind the scenes out there.
Yeah.
And
like the Netflix series, like if that were ever to go through, like that would be so sick, because it would actually show inside the sport and how gnarly of athletes you guys are. Like, I feel like you guys, everyone, like all the supercross dudes, all the motocross dudes, you guys are so underpaid for what you guys do and what you put your body through, where some of these basketball dudes and like baseball dudes are getting a couple $100 million contracts multi-year. And it's like, they'll stub a toe or a finger and I'm like, I can't play for three weekends. So I'm like, these motherfuckers are riding hurt. They're breaking a collarbone on a Saturday, getting surgery on Monday, and they're back at the races on Friday for press day. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's so gnarly. Like I would love to see the whole behind the scenes of Supercross and actually follow a few of you guys around for the year and see what it actually takes to be a top tier motorcycle dude.
Yeah.
It's gnarly.
It's gnarly. It's like it's basically a 9-to-5 job on most days.
I feel like it's more than a 9-to-5 because like when you leave the house, you're still in your mind thinking about how can I get better? What can I do for this? You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like it's never ending.
Yeah. It's not for sure. It's it's definitely taxing.
Yeah,
especially when you have the last couple of years like going to France and not having that time off the bike and just getting back into it. It is a grind, but at the same time, like I'm really good at reminding myself like what I do and what I do it for.
Yeah. And
it keeps me fresh for sure.
Yeah. When did you, because you used to be a woods racer, like with your pops, you know, like at what point were you like, all right, I'm going to start racing moto, like more versus the wood stuff, like was it GNCC?
GNCCs, yeah. So growing up, I mostly did woods, and then we got into motocross when I was at a young age, and I would race motocross on and off, and we did the main amateur nationals. And then when I got serious in the woods when I was like 15, 16, I really took focus to that, and I didn't really do any outdoors or not outdoors. I wouldn't do any like off the wall amateur races.
Yeah.
I would just focus on like the two main ones, like Loretta's and Minios.
Yeah.
And then in 2013, my dad was like, "Hey, why don't we just focus on motocross? We've never just focused on motocross, and let's see, like we can do it for a year, and then you're young enough to where we can, if it doesn't work out, we can come back and do the woods." So
that will always be there.
Yeah. So we did that, and I ended up winning like I think 6 amateur titles in the first like the first 3 months of the year, and that's when Bobby Reagan approached me and was like, "You keep riding the way you are, boy. You're gonna end up on my team one day." And
it did.
Yeah. And they gave me.
How long later did that happen when you rode for him?
2 months.
No way.
Yeah,
It was that quick.
So I.
He already in his head signed you. He's like, "We got this kid."
Yeah. So he had in his mind that I was on the team already. So, they gave me a bike for Loretta's, and then I went to Loretta's. I won every moto that I was in. It was 250B mod and 450B stock or limited nowadays. And then I went to Monster Cup that next year and won both motos in that. And then that's when I signed my pro deal.
Yep.
And then I went into Supercross in January.
So rad. It's rad too. Like Bobby Reagan, you know, he's watching everyone. Like he's brought up, I feel like he's brought up so many good dudes like to his squad, and what they're doing is insane.
Yeah. It's wild. And yeah, I won a 250 West title with him, and then the outdoor in the same year, and that was a really good year. I felt like nothing could go wrong that year.
Yeah.
It was, I mean, I did one Supercross. I think it was Houston in 18. I started in 17th place or something, and I passed everybody, and then the last 2 laps I was leading. I think I won by like 5 seconds. So that was kind of the staple that year that I was going to be one of the guys.
Yeah.
And once I got that confidence, it was really cool.
Who was all on your team that year?
It was me. I think Colt Nichols,
Martin.
Or actually, Colt wasn't a part of the team that year. Martin was.
Was it when Militia was sponsoring the team? Or
Martin was on
later?
Geico.
Oh, yeah.
Martin was on Geico, and then Militia was on the team. Like I think it was like 14, 15, and 16.
Yeah, I remember that. I was
maybe
like, damn,
17, that's cool. But yeah, we had just picked up, I think, Monster at that time.
Yep.
And then, it was just a good year. I think a couple. Justin Cooper was on the team.
Yeah.
He ended up getting hurt, and then
the next year he came back and won. Was it? Did you? No, because you were still on the team too the next year, right?
Yeah. Well, I was on factory Yamaha for the 450s that next year.
Yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yeah, because
that's when he started winning everything too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah, it was a pretty good ride with the Star Crew.
Twitch, one of the main things we were talking about earlier is we have some of the best MMA coaches in here, like Jason Perillo, who trains Cheeto Vera, Luke Rockhold, and me and Twitch were finding it kind of fascinating how motocross riders and MMA fighters have such similarities in terms of you have a corner, you have a team, but it's on you to go perform, and it's an individual sport, right? Like boxing, like UFC. How important is it to have a good team around you that prepares you, and how much involvement do they have that goes into your actual win?
They are, I mean, if you ask other people, they might have a different answer, but to me, it's 100%. Like you have to have a good team around you. Like if you're going into the weekend and you're not vibing with the people that you're around, it changes your attitude. You don't really want to go out there. You don't really have a good time on the weekend. But when there is good people, like I do have at KTM, it's such a fun, family filled weekend.
Yeah.
It's like you're going there.
You look forward to being there.
Yeah. Yeah. And they know that I like to have fun, and they kind of play along with it. And I feel like me having a good time makes them have a good time, because they're looking at me and I just have a smile on my face all the time, and I'm having fun, and
whether
you're
hurt or not.
Yeah. Yeah. And I just, I love that about the team, and yeah, it's just a really, really good vibe around the team.
I feel like your circle's tight, like with you and Jade Dungy being your mechanic.
Oh, yeah,
like
dude.
Jade's cool. So Ryan Dungy's older brother, who used to be the man, you know what I mean? So I love Jade. I follow him on Instagram. Like, he's always cracking up. He always has funny videos like that. The one where he was rolling through the pits the other day. He's a good dude. So like, I feel like you have to have the right people in your corner to like make it a fun weekend. It is a job at the end of the day, but you got to have fun doing it.
Yeah, for sure. And especially in this sport, like one thing could go wrong, and your whole weekend could be messed up.
Yeah.
To where, like, I have Jade, where he's always having a good time like me, and making these funny videos and making, cracking jokes, and I'm right there. Yeah, I'm right there with him, to where if I didn't have that, it would be a little out of the vibe.
Yeah.
I even see the hat. Obviously, you train with Dr. G.
Oh, yeah.
Local town favorite here in Newport Beach.
G's the man for every moto dude,
MMA
dude,
takes
skater,
care of everybody.
Like
Everybody in action sports, this guy takes care of. So obviously, I see you're taking care of your body.
Oh, yeah.
Taking care of, the recovery is very important. Is there something specific you do to keep yourself healthy all year?
Try not to crash.
Yeah. Me, just keep it on two wheels, man. Just keep it on two wheels. And like G, he helps out so much. And it's almost like, sometimes I don't need him, but other times I do. And it's almost like an insurance policy,
Seriously.
And he is there every time that I do need him. And if he's not, he's right there cracking jokes with me and Jade.
It's pretty rad too, because there's been so many times like I've been hurt where I'm like, hey, like I have to ride this weekend. Like, and going to him, I'm like, there's no way I'm riding. And then 3 days in, I'm like, dude, like I'm riding this weekend. Like I feel good. It's crazy the knowledge that dude has, and he's been around forever. And like Dr. G's the man.
Yeah. Dude, yeah.
Yep. He got my dad walking and feeling good. Got my sister feeling good. Everybody in Newport Beach goes to Dr. G.
Yeah.
No, yeah. He's awesome.
It's cool though, because a lot of people don't look at, most people that don't know supercross riders, like guys at your level, you guys are like the Michael Jordan, LeBron James, the Kobe Bryants of your genre, of your industry, of your sport. How much effort goes into riding a bike? Like me, I always joke with him because I crash on these little 50s. I just almost crashed this morning. But like, you guys are on another level of being an athlete. The athleticism that it takes to hold on to that thing for a half an hour.
Well, these dudes are training their ass off every day. Like they go through a gnarly boot camp before the season starts.
Yeah, walk us through that.
And then
what does that look like?
Everything, yeah.
Yeah. So boot camp, he usually starts end of October.
You call it boot camp?
Yeah.
Basically, everyone. It's gnarly. It's a gnarly, like.
Yeah. It's
like Hell Week for football, like when you're a little kid,
Literally, yeah. So it pretty much consists of 4 days of riding a week. And in off season, it's gnarly days. Like some days, we're pounding out 2 25-minute motos on a supercross track. And then we'll go on, like say Wednesday, our day off from riding, we'll go on an hour to an hour and a half bike ride. And then we'll do gym in the week, and twice or 3 times a week maybe. And then on Sundays, we'll just really just chill, maybe do like a 25-minute spin or something. But really the tax on your body that it has is super gnarly, because sometimes I'll come home, I'll sit down on the couch and I'll pass out for like 3 hours.
Yeah.
And
just drained.
Yeah, just drained. And
plus being out in Florida with the weather too, like
Yeah.
it's on that on top of it is
The
gnarly.
humidity.
Yeah.
the humidity
I'm out.
is gnarly, especially for outdoors, man. Outdoors, you got to take care of your body so well, because if you get into that state where you're just pounding and just not really having a connection with your body, you can get out of sync super fast.
and you can get hurt really quick.
sick, tired, hurt.
Yeah.
It just all compiles. And that's where G comes in too. He makes sure that we go through everything that we need, and he's just there to help our bodies recover.
What about the bikes? To which you always talk to us about bikes. I'm always trying to order bikes through him. It's so important on how like a bike is maintained, put together, how it rides for you. Like, how important is your feedback and the connection with your team? I know with freestyle, it's a little bit different, right? You kind of build your own bike. Right?
Our stuff don't need to be nearly as spot on as their stuff does. Like, they're like little changes here and there make a huge difference for them. Like, these dudes are like, a lot of the teams now have a dude testing the bike, getting shit ready. So when they get on it, it has kind of like a base and they can adjust it from there. But dude, it's huge. Like you seen it this year a couple of times. Dudes will go out outdoors and get like 7th or 8th and then go and make a couple changes, come out and win the next moto. It's like just it being that much off can make the biggest difference throughout the day.
Yeah. And the team has huge influence on that. Like, we weren't having the best time a couple years ago, and the team went back, they did their homework, and they have formed this bike to where it wins championships now. So, and we didn't know too much about it because it was a brand new bike and everything. And they went back and pretty much manufactured parts that we wanted and we needed to make this bike to what it is now. So they totally changed everything and made sure that the bike is what it is now. And it's gnarly what they can do.
How much do you think goes into building out one of these bikes for a rider?
Like, how much money?
Yeah.
Their bikes. I wouldn't even be able
With
to
the
put a dollar
time,
on
the
it.
staff,
Like,
the one-off pieces, like, because you're manufacturing specific parts for your bike for these bikes you're competing on, right?
Yeah.
It's not like a bike, like a normal kid can't just go to a store and buy this bike, right?
well, kind of now, but they still have custom shit that, like,
Yeah.
they have like
Like, I know it's off the rack, so to say, and that's why they want you winning.
Yeah.
But there's obviously got to be something they're doing to it a little bit.
they have like, they have a dude for everything on that bike. You know what I mean? Like, they don't have like it's
Yeah.
crazy how much
Like
work
Formula
goes
One,
into
they
it.
talk about an engine in a car costs like $10 million to put it together, finalize it, test it, trial it, all the staff.
Yeah.
Is it similar to Supercross teams and bikes?
Somewhat, but the AMA has a rule. The American Motocross Association has a rule that that our bikes need to be so that pretty much anybody can go and buy like most of the parts on the bike. Like, we can't say they used to build works bikes back in the day, back in like the 80s, and not one single part on that bike you could buy.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So our bikes are more so manufactured to where if anybody wants to go buy this part or these parts, they can. But it's going to cost them quite a bit of money to build
They're
it.
not going to go buy it.
Yeah.
That's cool though.
Yeah.
So does that even out the playing field for you guys? Is that why they do that?
A little bit. Say like in MXGP overseas, I don't think they have that rule, so they can pretty much do whatever they want to the bike.
Super bikes.
They have like
yeah,
different
so-
frames. Like, they're doing all kinds of stuff over there. Like, so when all the Europeans come over here, they always struggle
Yeah.
because the bikes are so different. you
And
know?
vice versa. Like if we go over there, we struggle because we don't really know what the limit is.
Yeah.
Damn, that's so
crazy.
interesting. Especially for like a kid who's just getting into the sport. Like what is the easiest way for a kid to get into Supercross, to watch Supercross? Like in basketball, you go to ESPN, kind of get an overlay as a kid, or you grew up playing like Pony, or, for football or baseball, grew up playing Pop Warner. How does a kid grow up racing? Like how did you start racing? How do you even start racing for a kid?
So in my sense, my dad, he raced in the woods when I was growing up. He raced professionally, and he got me into it. He bought my first bike, and my first race was actually a woods race. So that's how I got into it. And then a lot of these kids nowadays, if their parents didn't race, maybe mom or dad had a liking to it, or took a liking to somebody in the past, and they just wanted their kid to do it, or they've been in it for a while and they just buy a bike. But yeah, my bringing up was a little bit different than most people in the sport nowadays.
Who was your biggest inspiration?
Between my dad and Pastrana.
Yeah.
I think.
damn.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
yeah, dude. Pastrana, man.
He was gnarly, like racing, freestyle. He's still gnarly. Like
Dude,
he's
yeah.
still doing crazy shit. Like that dude, I think inspired a lot of people.
Dude, yeah. Like
He's the GOAT.
and still does to
Yeah.
this day. Like he's had TV shows
Yeah.
and everything.
Tours,
and,
like everything.
Jumping out of airplanes with like without wings, without parachutes, without anything.
Yeah.
Dude.
Bro, I watched that video
That one's
with
gnarly,
Scheckler. I watched it with Scheckler, right? Because they were Red Bull guys, and Scheck's like, oh, I don't know if I would want to do that. I'm like, the fact that you guys are even thinking about maybe wanting to do it with him, you're nuts.
Dude.
Bro, that's the craziest thing.
Yep.
Can you imagine jumping out of an airplane without a parachute?
No, I
couldn't
don't
imagine
even want to jump out of one with the parachute.
With the parachute.
I'm scared of heights. So no, I don't even want to go on an airplane.
Me
yeah,
too.
same.
I don't even understand how this guy can fathom the idea of like waking up one day and saying, you know what, I'm Travis Pastrana, I'm Nitro Circus, I'm one of the greatest ever. Now I'm gonna just go jump out of an airplane without a parachute.
I don't think he thinks.
He
just
doesn't
does
have
it.
fear.
No,
like
he
he
doesn't.
doesn't have
Zero.
fear at all.
No.
And whatever he puts his mind to, he does.
Yeah, I feel like everyone is like that. They just don't put their mind to it. Like everyone wants something, but they're not willing to put in the work for it.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know?
It's like me in my garage. Like I have plans for my garage, big plans for my garage, and every time I walk out into it, I'm like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow.
That's like the epitome of a guy. Like, I want to build out my garage, and they're like, I'm going to build this man cave, and then you build nothing.
Yeah.
I'm
he's
actually doing mine right now.
Bro, he's building I don't want to give away too much, but he's building the craziest man cave I've ever seen.
It's gonna be sick.
Like, I thought the Jackson house is cool. I got my ring, I got my podcast center, I got all the boys. We could do podcasts. We got the new JX ones. I'm going to give it to you guys. But this guy's building a state of the art, just like, hey, this is just for me and all my homies in my backyard. I
be
saw this
sick.
house. What is it? What do you call that? A house, a barn?
It's a shop, like
A shop.
3,200 square foot metal building.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Looks like the Coliseum. Like,
I'm
it's
gonna have
just,
to make my way down there.
yeah. What motivated you to do this?
I've always wanted a shop,
Yeah,
and
that's-
I have so much stuff like bikes, Polarises, like Indians, like all my stuff, and I hate having clutter. I'm like, I want everything to have its own spot, and I've always wanted the dope shop. It's right down below where my jump is. Everyone's riding there every day, so it's like it's cool. It's gonna be insane having what I'm building in there and just having the crew that I have.
That's
For you to
that's
make
awesome.
content, you have jumps in your backyard. It's like right there.
Yeah.
How important is it for a team to have like your own track or your own spot to go to train and kind of critique things?
Yeah,
you
I mean
have
it's
to.
yeah. If you don't have that, it's very, very hard. And KTM has a place out here in Marietta, California, and then we have a place. It's called the Baker's Factory. Alden Baker owns it, and most of us train down there. And man, it's so easy. Like Alden is a big part in my success right now. He makes everything so easy, and it's like the Taj Mahal of training.
You
Pretty
just
much
show
for
up
dirt
and do
bikes.
what he says
Yeah,
to
you
do.
just show up, you get everything done. He has a gym on the facility. He has everything ready for you to go. He takes care of all of our heart rate stuff. We just show up, put a heart rate monitor on, and he plugs it in, downloads it after. And
Gnarly.
it's
Wow.
like it's the cleanest shop I've ever seen for a
motocross.
shop.
Yeah.
Like usually they're all covered in dirt, you know, they're just dirt floors and pretty much what I grew up in. And then you have this place, which is
You can eat off the floor, like
literally. And it's so nice, and he keeps this factory so well put together. It's beautiful.
Can I unpack this for a second? What are you talking about? Heart monitors and rates? Like they have a team that's checking your blood pressure, heart monitor,
he
your
plugs everything
breathing
into
rates.
an iPad, and like he's watching them while they're riding and stuff. Like, yeah, they all
Yeah.
No way.
He tracks our heart rates, and pretty much that's how we figure out, or he figures out a plan for us to do
for their training.
The next week is if our heart rates are 20 beats higher than the week prior, he knows that we're tired, or he knows that we're getting in better shape or whatever. And that's such a big part in that boot camp that
you figure out what your body's doing.
Yeah, you
like
figure out what you
that.
can and can't do, what like,
hey, you're getting tired at like the 15-minute mark, so we're going to train this way this week. Wow. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
We just saw that for the first time ever in UFC at the Sphere. In between rounds during the Merab and Sugar fight, they had a pop-up, and it showed you their heart rate when they sat down, because they had a tracker, I think, in their glove. And it was able to kind of tell you who, because, the faster you can control your heartbeat after a high input determines how good in shape you are. So they're trying to show, and the fighters were like neck and neck, and they both were putting out a lot of energy. Merab's was a little bit higher because he was going nuts. But it's pretty crazy. So like the sport's evolving now, like on a whole new level of athleticism.
It's been like that for a minute.
Yeah, it's been like that for a while. But I say now with the like technology that they have, I think it's getting better and better.
Wow. Are they doing anything specific at Supercross, like actual races or motocross races?
Not so much. I know that they are, it's kind of a different area, but they're putting like GPSs on the bikes now to where they can tell where we are on the track,
which is pretty cool
at all times.
I like how they're starting to put the green light on the fork so you can identify who the leader is. Because there's so many times, like when you're at Supercross, like you look away, you look back, you're like, where's the leader? Where's the leader? Like you're looking up at the TV, you're looking down there, but now they have a bright ass light around their fork tube and it shows. And then you see like in the corners, like the lights will be flashing like when the leaders are coming around. So they're making it a lot easier and a lot more, I feel like, a lot more friendlier to like know what's going on.
Like fan based kind of area.
Because sometimes you look away, you look back, you're like, where's Plessinger?
Yeah.
Oh, there he is. You know what I mean? And then you find him and then you hear, oh, so you look over here and you're like, what? And then you look back, where the hell are they? Like, it goes so quick. You know what I mean?
It's got to be so loud though, right? Between all the bikes and between the fans and everything. You're not
like this year at San Diego when I won my first Supercross, dude, the last lap, you could people cheering. I couldn't even hear my bike. Like it was.
And that was your first 450 win, right?
That was the first 450 win.
How many years have you been in the 450 class?
Since 2019. So
damn, you suck.
5th year. Yeah.
Oh, my.
Compared to these guys, compared to these younger kids growing up, like
only a guy like that could get away with that. You know what I mean? Listen, I got you the brand new JX1. We're gonna change the subject on that.
You feel bad for him, so you're gonna give him a watch?
I got.
Let's go.
That would hurt me.
I gotta.
This guy's the friendliest, nicest guy. He woke me up this morning. I'm like, yo, what's good? He's like, hey, can I cuss on this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he's one of a kind. I'm not even gonna say it.
I texted him. I'm like, yo, fuck you.
Yeah. I thought he was good. And then he's like, yo, let's get breakfast. But if anybody out there knows Twitch, you know that this guy's one of a kind, right? So it's part of him and who he is. He doesn't turn off for anybody. He stays who he is. Listen, we're really excited this year. We're going to be dropping our new JX1. It's Jackson's first ever watch. It's got a Japanese movement, celebrated arena bezel, brand new core link band, and our butterfly clasp with our insignia logo. This is literally like the most complete watch a guy can have. Perfect for your win to roll around with and remind yourself every time you look at it that, hey, Twitch could be wrong sometimes too. And,
all the time.
And I definitely wanted you to be one of the first guys to get this.
Those just came in.
They just came in. Twitch, I got you one as well.
You're the first one I seen get one.
Yeah. So we just launched these. We're obviously like the leading in men's chains, and we've been creating some of the best chains in the world. We have some of the best athletes, Twitch, P-Rod, Sheckler, Rampage, Luke Rockhold, you name it, and now we're basically going to be going into the watch game. So we spent like a year and a half developing these and kind of just getting input from everybody, Twitch and everybody, similar to a bike, just making sure that our team appreciates it and understands it, and just kind of putting together like the scratch-proof sapphire crystals and just making sure that the entire clasp and the shine kind of matches our jewelry. Twitch, I wanted you to be one of the first ones to get it, but because of the comment, I gave him his.
Let's go, dude.
Yo, while we're looking at this and we're looking at gold, you win your first race. Does it change your perspective on racing? Does it make you want it more? Does it make it seem like, hey, I got one underneath the book, so there's less pressure now when you start?
In a sense, yeah. But it's like after I won that race, it still didn't change, that the guys who I'm racing are still the guys that were up there, the week prior. And for me, it just solidified that I was ready to be there. I was one of the guys. Yeah, I can do it. And I actually got the points lead after that win, and I held it for I think a week or two, and that just felt good, because
the reassurance of like, I've been busting my ass, like I deserve to be right here, like I earned it.
And like I said, like I been 450 since 2019, and to get that and like to progress how I'm progressing, for me that was a huge thing, to see the progress, to see like I'm actually getting better and not staying just stagnant. So for me that was such a huge thing for me to do, that I think that changed my season around.
And for guys like, say, Twitch, for example, who's been in your corner for a while, and I know that you guys also do, DBK does a merch. Is that what it is?
Yeah, we do all Plessinger's merch right now.
Which they're killing it.
Yeah, so you had, and you have great product, right? So you've had a guy like this in your corner. What about all the people that have believed in you the whole time, similar to Twitch, your family, your friends, getting that win? Does it kind of validate like the success? Because I know a lot of people, they tend to lean on their wins as a way to kind of accredit everyone that supported them. I talk to a lot of MMA fighters. That's always their biggest thing, like getting that big win after a 1 year camp. But after going that long, then finally getting that, does it kind of take it to the next level with guys around you and kind of the validation?
Oh, yeah, a little bit. I would say with the team more than, my friends, because a lot of my friends are like Twitch, and they like to keep me humble. And I like that. I love having people around that don't let my head get too big, because I never want that to happen. I always want to.
I don't ever see that happening with you.
Yeah, I just want to stay a regular dude and kind of, like I said, remind myself why I started this in the first place. And so I would say more or less the team, they responded very, very well, and they just pretty much told me that I was one of the guys. I can do this, and that was huge. But like I said, when I get home to my friends, they're
still your friends. Yeah,
they're like, well, you did it once, now you got to do it again. Yeah. If you don't do it again this weekend, then I don't know what to tell you.
Going back to Supercross, Detroit, that would have been your first win. Yes. And dude, I was devastated for you. Like everyone, I feel like everyone in the grandstands were devastated for you. Like that had to have been the shittiest feeling, but at the same time knowing like, dude, I was waxing these dudes till this one jump got me.
Dude, yeah. And
it was a gnarly crash, dude.
Yeah, it was gnarly. I still have a scar on my thigh from it. The foot peg dug into my thigh when I side saddled off the bike and went flipping into that landing.
It was so gnarly. And the amount of work that you put in to go and do that, and then leading the whole race, and then have that happen. What was it, one lap left or one corner?
Yeah, so it was one corner or two corners and a lap.
Yeah.
So and I saw after I crashed, I got back up. I was missing my visor, missing, stuff on my bike. And I got back up. I saw the bike smoking, and I didn't know if I could keep going at that point. I mean, obviously I was sore from the crash, but my team manager reminded me, like, if the bike's still running, we go. And yeah, so, but my friends coming to play again, I got back, and I'm a gamer, so I like playing Xbox a lot. And we get on the Supercross 6 game. The first track they play is Detroit. And they're like,
wait, you get back from Detroit, you hop on an Xbox, you decide to play.
I'm like winding down. I'm like, all right, it was so close to being a good weekend. I'm gonna wind down with the boys and
let's play some games.
I get on, yeah, dude. Let's have some fun. I get on the first track, Detroit, and dude, most of them were like, the dude who picked the track, they were like, you jackass, why'd you do this? And he's like, dude, Gotta remind him. Can't let him live it down.
Bro, can you imagine coming back from a crash and then your boys throw that on the game? I would be so pissed.
That's what keeps me humble.
It's a yes and a no. It's like, all right, motherfucker, watch this.
Yeah, watch this.
I'm gonna get that win.
But nah, it's a good time.
Yeah.
What was it about you? Like, obviously you can work with everybody, and I've seen all the athletes, they all want to work with you. What was it about him that made you say like, yo, I want to support this kid. I want to get him with DBK. This is one of the most authentic, like kind of motocross, freestyle, supercross, just moto brands ever. What was it about him that made you choose him?
I've always been a fan of Plessinger since little kid, Grom, you know? And like when he started going pro, like you said, he always has a smile on his face. He's super relatable to the fans. Like any fan can go up and talk to him no matter what the hell he's doing. And I just always like the connection that he had with his fans, and he's super marketable. Like, and he's marketable in a way where it's like, it's next level, and he's not even trying to be on that level. He's just being himself. So I've always liked to do it. I think he's cool. And I was like, dude, I want to make your merch, you know? And like, it was literally perfect time because like you were doing a little bit of it, like your family was helping out, but like everyone's always like, oh, how can I get Plessinger merch? And like, you would never see it. And, and I feel like for a while there, like no one was really doing merch, like for like the racers, like that much. And when I saw some of his stuff, I just hit him up. I'm like, yo, let's see if there's something we can do to like help each other out. You know what I mean? Cause I'm like, we wanted to get into racing, and it's super expensive to get into racing. So we're like, how can we get into racing without spending millions of dollars to sponsor a team? Like, and I was like, dude, let me hit up Plessinger and see if we can just make his merch for him right now. And like, dude, it helped us out, and it helped him out because now all his fans are wearing all his stuff at the races, and it's cool to see.
Yeah.
And speaking on that too, because we don't ever even talk about your brand DBK. I find it so crazy that this is like one of the last authentic action sports brands of all time because it's still ran by him. I would credit maybe P-Rod with Primitive in skateboarding, Scheckler with Sandlot, and that's maybe Nyjah with Disorder, but that's a kind of a fairly new one. And that's about it. Like there's not many surf or skate or moto owned brands that are at that level, still core level. Like, yeah, you have some of these other bigger brands that have sold to conglomerates and they still run. But like, what makes you so fueled up and fired up? Because I know you don't need the money.
Like I was telling you earlier, like I like to build shit and watch it grow and see what happens and comes out of it. Like for me, that's the funnest thing. Like it could be up here, but then I'm like, okay, what can I start now? Cause like, I don't like not doing stuff. Like I get bored. Like I always want to be like doing something, like creating something, trying to better my family. Like just, I'm always hustling. Like it's just what it is. And I feel like with DBK, it's like, I've done so much stuff in like my career back in the day. And I'm like, what am I going to have to show for it afterwards besides all these trophies and medals hanging on my wall? I'm like, I want something that's going to be like a staple, like what Deegan did with Militia, like that. You'll always hear that name. You know what I mean? Like it was like one of the dopest brands. And for me, I felt like that's what I wanted to do with DBK.
Yeah. And for me, getting in with him, it's cool because I would say most of the people who follow freestyle motocross follow motocross in general, but the people that don't, say the one-off guys who just follow freestyle motocross can go now and go on his page, check my stuff out and think it's cool. And now you know, I have another fan that is wearing my stuff. And
it's the same for us. It's like we promote each other. You know what I mean? Yep. So it's cool.
It's cool. You like handpick the guys though that you feel are core, authentic to you, authentic to who they are themselves. Because we see a lot of these brands, they just kind of culture vulture. They go pick guys, don't really care about the guys. They just think it's a quick sale.
I feel like a lot of the brands, they try to just go pick who's doing the best shit, or who's winning. I'm like, I don't give a fuck if someone's winning or losing. I'm like, is that dude cool? Is he marketable? Is he going to sell shit? Does it make sense? Let's do it.
Yeah.
You know, like,
yeah, anything with moto, like he's the guy for us, like for at JAXXON. Like if we're going to do anything with anyone, we're like, yo, Twitch, what do you think? He's like, yeah, let me look at this. Like we run through everything. So there's always this like chain of command kind of, so it's comes off real. That's why we have such a gnarly team. We have the best surfers like Cole Hoshman, best skaters like P-Rod and, you know, Scheckler. And now we have moto guys. So it's like, we really want to make sure everything stays to that same core level mentality. It comes from guys like you, have this generational, you guys were there before social, you kind of stayed through this, and then we see you passing that down. Do you have plans on doing crazy like social pieces or some one-off things with YouTube or any shows of your own?
Not right now. Like I've thought about it, but for me to like, a lot of people vlog in our sport, and I feel like I've been approached by a lot of people and saying like, you should do a vlog, you should do this and that. And in my eyes, you know, to have a camera always around me, I feel like it's going to draw that like authenticity away from me because, you know, most people for a camera, they're show out.
It on,
yeah, they're putting it on. So for me, I just thought about that, and it's on one hand, it could be really, really cool, but on the other, I might lose, you know, my
yourself,
authenticity.
Your aura. Yeah.
My,
you have an aura too, for sure.
Yeah. So I've thought about it, but nothing really huge coming up.
And it's just I feel like it's like a distraction too. Like depending on like who your filmer is, if he's cool, if you vibe with him, like if not, like sometimes there's people that want to film stuff and we'll be filming stuff and in my head I'm like, this dude's so fucking annoying right now. Like I just want to get this day over with. And then there's other dudes where I just talk to them like they're my best friend because they're putting off a good vibe. I'm having fun, you know. So for you, I could see how distracting it would be with just how gnarly your schedule is, you know?
Yeah.
I got one last thing for you, though. First of all, I want to say thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thanks.
Second of all, I want to say thank you for receiving the new JX1 on camera.
Man.
This is our brand new launch of these. Twitch always bringing the most fire guests here for the podcast. I hope everybody at the...
That's our asshole gift.
That's crazy.
I love it, dude. I love it.
So shout out to everybody at home. Hope you guys are appreciating what Twitch is doing for you guys, trying to give you guys the best show in moto. Who is on your Mount Rushmore of your top favorite riders of all time?
I would say Pastrana for one.
Yep.
Carmichael, James, Stewart, and then I would say McGrath.
Yeah. That's a solid.
That's
Mount
all I know.
Rushmore right there. That's a good one.
for moto.
It's hard because there's a lot of good dudes, but like to be like the Rushmore, like that's pretty.
That's
a great
solid
lineup.
one.
Yeah.
It's probably one of the best ones I've heard for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love it. And congrats on all the success. I know you're going to continue to kill it. I know you guys are killing it with your merch and your brand. Where can they get all your merch right now?
Dirt by Kids, dirtbykids.com.
Cool.
Yeah.
Come get at
You
us,
got
dog.
the link in your Instagram?
I do.
Yeah,
I
cool.
do.
Any new drops coming?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just dropped one last week. The man, the myth, the mullet.
Yeah, dude.
The man, the myth, the mullet.
Yeah.
What an incredible tagline.
Yeah.
That's on your DBK merch?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
It's
surprised me with it too. So I was
a good one.
I was stoked on that.
Yeah. Pretty
And are
good.
you doing anything for Nations Cup?
I have. So there's this new thing that started. It's smxjerseys.com.
Yep.
And Michael Lieb and the team over there, they have been selling my jerseys this past year,
Which have been killing it, by the way. Killing it.
Dude, yeah. I've been blown away. I never
sick.
really thought like anything like this would happen. I know like what they're trying to do is you know how NFL has the jerseys that you can buy, like all the players or whatever. So they're trying to make it like that. And it's just so cool to see, like when I go to races now, people will come up and have my jerseys and want to get them signed. And
So rad.
And we just put another one out. One is the one-off MX of Nations jersey. And then another one is the one with not my number 7 on it, which both are red, white, and blue, but they're pretty damn sick.
It's pretty funny too, because I'm actually going over by Leaps today to pick up 2 of your jerseys so I can bring to Vegas to have you signed so we can put them in with your drop to actually win that jersey.
Let's
How
go.
does that
Site.
work?
Yeah.
What do they win?
They're gonna they're someone who's ever buying his merch next week's gonna win one of his signed jerseys
Damn. So, and when
that
does
we have
what,
before Motocross of Nations.
what's the date of the drop?
Just next week, I don't know, sometime during the week.
So we'll throw in like 5 gold Cuban 5mm. They're our best selling chains. So if anybody goes and buys any of his merch,
he gets a jersey and a chain.
they'll get a jersey and a chain, and then we'll pick a few extra winners and we'll give them to you. You can throw it in there.
That would be
Let's
dope.
go.
We'll throw that
Yeah.
from Jackson
Let's
so we
go.
can
Sick.
support this guy so he can go. Yo, he's representing America.
I love it, dude.
It's like
Yeah,
the Olympics.
baby.
So you're one of us at this point. We got to make sure that
USA.
you win. So
Let's go.
I appreciate you coming through.
Yeah,
welcome
thanks for having me
welcome
on.
to Jackson.
Thank
and
you.
then anything else you want to add on this Twitch?
That's it. Just go represent us or don't come back, dude.
We'll do. We'll do.
It's always a double edge with this guy.
That's my friends.
Jackson Podcast, Twitch, the Cowboy. You already know what it is. We out.